evening, esteemed fans, and welcome yet again to the Spartan Sim Racing League. This is the Spartan Sim Racing League Truck Series live from virtual Richmond Raceway, brought to you by Glorious Grid Vision. I am Joe LaCastro, joining the booth tonight by Curtis White, and down in the truck it's Austin Derbyshire. Curtis, welcome to Richmond, my friend. How you doing this evening?
I love being in Richmond, Joe. This is a very fun facility to be in. I'm very excited to watch these trucks go into action here.
It is a fun facility. I love a track that's got seating all the way around, that nice, tight, smaller feel to it. We're doing 150 laps here tonight, officially taking a little bit of a break around lap 60, but 150 laps is going to fly by. And I know it may seem like a little bit on paper, but brace yourself because it's going to be an exciting, action-packed evening. Just look at the banking on this track. It's kind of extreme.
It may look like a standard cookie cutter track, but what they've done is they basically put it in a dryer and shrunk it. And it's tougher than it looks. It may look like a standard track, but like getting an actual vehicle on it, it takes a lot of discipline to get around here consistently.
Yeah, discipline is the name of the game. Maybe a little bit of luck too, as we see things shape up for our boys right now. They're officially just doing a little bit of a warm-up. Let's take a look. What are the conditions right now? Look at the sunset. It's a lovely day. Let's see what time it is out here. It is 8:23 p.m. My gosh, it must be the summertime. 8:23 p.m. Richmond, USA. 74 in the air, 76 on the track. It's going to be a wonderful night. Good night for a race, and we might even see the thing there. What was that here? Oh, I do see that. Yeah, here we go. It's 5:15. Yeah, May 15th. Okay. May 15th, 8:30 p.m. Not bad. Here we go. Let's get into some of the broadcast picks for tonight. Let's see what we're doing. I am going with Heath Snyder. I have a feeling that he's going to show some power on the field tonight.
It's a good pick, and you know what? It's funny you say that because I'm also picking Heath Snyder. We're going for the double.
The Derby double. Not the Derby triple. Chad Genningsman for the truck down there. But yeah, the Derby double says Heath Snyder. So that's double good luck to Heath Snyder from the commentator's curse. I mean, commentator's good luck aura. I don't know what to call that. Commentator's blessing. There we go. So hopefully we don't double up on the bad luck there, and he has an excellent evening. I think the grid is getting ready to come together, and in a moment we're going to have our list of Heath Snyder says I'm a bad pick. Oh no. Well, you know what, you did pretty good in qualifying, Heath, so I went with you, and that's all there is to it. Starting off things in the pole position, it is Scott Healy. On the outside, Joseph Tucker in second, Heath Snyder, two of our picks, in third, Kyle Westwood in fourth, Evan Ethel in fifth, Chad Genningsman, our other pick, in sixth, Hunter Hughes in seventh, Colton Gardner in eighth, Jordan Sailors in ninth, and Drew Prohl in 10th.
And continuing with 11th, we got Art Nicotera in the 17, Scott Schroeder in the 74 on his outside. And then row 7, you got James Staples in the 24, Gary Donnellan in the 12. And then behind those two, JP Jones and Gabriel Andy in the 6. Blair Holloman in the 32, and then outside him the 68 of Christopher Fuge. Tom Ringer in the number 9 from Fresno. Todd Parent in the 60 or the 55. On the outside of him, it showed 69 on the truck, but 55 on the graphic. So that confused me there for a second.
It's all right, bit of a switch up. I couldn't tell you how many times I unfortunately have one thing show me one thing, another thing show me another. But let's just say that's Todd Parent in the 20th slot back there. Regardless of what number he's got, we'll get a close-up on him right now, maybe during the pacing lap. Can we get a quick look at Todd Parent there and see what his livery is sporting today? Maybe we can... Oh, it's all right. Yeah, we got the pre-race going. We're getting everything. It's a short track, folks, so we don't have much to go before We don't have far to go before the race is going to get started. Todd Parent, last place there in 20th slot. We just want to see what number he's got on his livery there. That's all right.
We'll never know.
Well, well, let's just hope he makes his way up a little bit further and toward the front so that we can get a good look at that. In the meantime, the pace car is setting the pace. We've got some tire warming coming up on the inside from Kyle Westwood, I think. Or that might be Heath Snyder. Yep, Heath Snyder in the 29 doing a little bit of tire warming. And very soon, these guys will be heading around doing 150 laps of gladiator combat for you tonight, the fans. So get excited, get hyped. It's going to be coming to you live on Grid Vision from SSRL in Richmond. Yep, got to get those tires warmed up. I love that. Love that wiggle maneuver. Never really knew if that was if that really hit in iRacing, but now off goes the pace car. Here we go. Here comes the zone, and we are go on Grid Vision. Up to the front goes Scott Healy, Joseph Tucker falling in behind in the 39.
Oh, they're spinning already. Back of the pack, big wreck in turn 1.
Spins already. We've got Jordan Sailors backwards. Well, we're not going to have to go far back in the Wayback Machine to see what happened. But I think we're about to take a little look-see. The yellow flag is out. Here it comes. Oh, just a wiggle from the 18 of Hunter Hughes. Looks like he might have lost some reason. He's ended up losing some speed and put his car into the nose of Jordan Sailors. Sailors lost control up into the wall. Let's see that one more time. Sailors.
I mean, to be fair to Hughes, the rear bumper of his truck did say caution on it.
It did. I think Sailors ended up getting rear-ended as well. So unfortunately, he got it from both sides, as it were, both barrels.
Yeah, that was just a stack up that just kept building up into turn 1. Everyone's just trying to get settled in with everyone's tires, trying to get built up to temp. The tire swerving thing, it really does help with tire heating up, especially on a track like Richmond where it takes multiple laps for those tires to get up to temp, because they're gonna be fighting for grip these first 3 laps, and now that they've barely gotten half a lap in, they're gonna have to do that all over again.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's a situation where you can get caught off guard very early on in these races, unless you get your tires into a good situation.
Sailor's already in the pits. Scott Schroeder with some heavy front end damage. He's pulling down the pit road, get that fixed.
And Hunter Hughes still in it, I believe, right now. Yeah, he's still holding on to that spot. I think he only lost 2 spots. He won last week's race, or the last race we had here. He had Watkins Glen for the Truck Series. Little road course action. Now we're back on the oval.
Yeah, Hughes was actually very lucky to not hit the edge of the inside wall where pit road exits. Like, if you actually probably look back on it as he was spinning, he might have got only some rear end damage just from the tap of Sailors, but like he was able to time that, you know, just at the right time to where he was able to miss that inside wall where. And it's not a soft wall either, so if he actually ends up hitting that thing, that probably could have been night over for him, so he was very lucky to not hit that thing.
Here's Hughes now. Yep, he just ended up tapping the brakes and sending wow, he recovered from that extremely well, it's true. But it was that brake tap, that quick brake check that started that little chain reaction, unfortunately. But as we come around now, we're about to get ready to get things started off again. Let's try that again. We're on lap 5 of 150. We got a little ways to go, boys. Let's keep it clean as we enter the Geico restart zone. And we are go yet again here on Grid Vision tonight. Immediately outside, Tucker. Let's watch for some craziness. Is everybody keeping it nice and straight? It looks like they are. Scott Healy and Joseph Tucker in the front. Everybody getting out to the wall this time. Trying to really use all the track space they have to gain as much speed as possible, but you can run multiple lanes here at Richmond on these corners. And that's where the excitement's going to really be. Eyes on Evan Ethel. High on the outside. He's one of the only people taking a high outside line right now. Getting worked also as the line collapses onto him, staying in that middle groove. That tenacity might just pay off. What do you think about that middle groove there, Curtis? Is that the option you would take? Ooh.
At this point in the run, not really, but if it was a situation where I didn't have any other choice, I would have to make it work the best I possibly could, because if you're able to keep the car or truck on the inside pinched down, you can get the run on the straightaway and kind of use that momentum to kind of close the door back to stay ahead of them. But it's kind of a tough spot to be in, because I'm assuming you are wearing your tires more, running up in that higher groove. The bottom lane does seem to be where the speed is right now, so I'm curious to see just how much grip there is down there. It seems like that's where everyone else seems to be kind of navigating around this place, just right on the yellow paint with their left side tires. Seems to be where the grip is right now.
All right. Folks, we've got a special treat for you. We're going to do some radio-style commentary here while we try to get this stream to be a little more smooth for you. So we're going to be watching things as the guys go around and giving you the commentary as it goes. Right now, it looks like Scott Healy is still holding on to first place. Joseph Tucker close behind. Tucker about the gap between them only about a tenth of a second, it looks like. Very, very close now between those two. Tucker, however, Tucker moving forward. He's taking the lead.
That's right there down the straightaway with ease. Joseph Tucker, the 39. Scott Healy not putting up too much of a fight. Knows it's early. He's going to try to save his stuff for later. Backs in line, stays within reach of the 39. He's in second place right now. But those top two are opening up to about a second over Heath Snyder and Chad Ginningsman, who are nose to tail for third place. At the moment, Healy's in trouble. He's pulling to the inside. Something wrong with the 64.
Oh, no. He's falling back pretty far. Really back. He's on the inside. He's just coasting through the turn. He's not trying to pit. He went around the pit. Don't know what's going on with Scott Healy here. Could he have blown the engine of that vehicle? We're going to have to come back and find out a little bit once we get reconnected here, folks. But let me listen. He might have had a technical there. Was listening into the driver radio. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out. Scott Healy now at the back of the line was holding on to closest. It was his first place for a while. He was our pole position. Now he's at the end of the line through, I think, no fault of his own. It might have been an equipment failure there, folks. But up at front, Joseph Tucker is taking it away. Heath Snyder is close behind now. The gap of about 1 second between the two. Snyder inching up on that.
And the good news for Healy is that he was able to get the truck refired and stay on the lead lap. He's back in 17th right now on track. Just needs to stay up there until the break. Hopefully he doesn't lose a lap. But that's at least the good news. He's just trying to do damage control right now.
That's true. And what are you going to do but that? At this point, as far as Scott Healy goes, you've got really nothing to prove. You were at the pole position, but now if you want to prove something, this is your chance, man. Let's climb this mountain. Let's get back up there and see how things go. I think our video stream should be back up here soon, folks. All right, we are back now, and you can see Joseph Tucker. Let's see, out in front. Let me relink up my broadcast here. We got eyes on Kyle Westwood still going around. Now, here we go. Joseph Tucker, here we go. 39 machine. Chastity Tucker Realty. Wonder if that advertisement gets any business. I'm hoping it does. If anybody needs to buy a house,
we got our cameras on it.
That's right. That's right. Chastity Tucker Realty for all your realty needs. Wherever she might be based, I'm not exactly sure. But if you need a house in the area, that's the person to reach out to right there. And just behind Heath Snyder in the glorious Grid Vision car, the 97 of Chad Genningsman. So our 2 picks are in the top 3 right now. We'll see how that holds out. Hopefully no Scott Healy's occur, and we end up with that staying nice and smooth. Healy himself still back in 16th right now, an unfortunate position to find himself. Was hoping that he'll be able to turn that back around, but like you said, it might be take up until the break to almost get things working there. Tennessee, Chastity Tucker Realtors, based in Tennessee. There you go. You are very welcome. Congratulations on having a car in first place there. So we've got everybody looking pretty good. Drew Prohl right now in the 80, trying to look for a line of attack on Hunter Hughes.
Yeah, just kind of searching around at the moment. Yeah, we're on board with them right now.
Hughes had a little scrape there when he hit the brakes. I wonder if he still has some residual damage from that earlier wreck. Good drive in from Drew Prohl. He's driving down to the inside, letting Hughes ride the outside a little bit. Oh! Little chiropractic for Drew Prohl, bouncing off the wall. Not going to make you much faster, unfortunately, in this case. It's just going to cost him that extra slight half-tenth of a second. As behind him, Gary Donnellan is starting to say, hey, maybe Drew's pushing it too far. Maybe I can make a move here, too.
That's exactly what he's got to be thinking right now. If I am Donnellan in that 12 machine, you see the truck in front of you kind of get in the way a little bit, try to search around. He's trying to fight the battle of his own, but if you're that 12 truck and you know you got a really fast truck in your possession, you got to make the most of it right now. As Cole jumps to the outside, he's trying to get a run on Hunter Hughes down the straight. He's going to try to set him up here inside into turn 3. Hughes not going to put up much of a fight. He's going to try to defend a little bit on the outside. Gets on the gas much earlier than Prohl. That's the advantage of being up there. Donnellan can only just watch from behind as those two are side by side.
And watch he shall. Donnellan hungry for the position himself. Ooh, big slide out of Donnellan there behind them. I don't know if you saw that fishtail maneuver, but as they came flying out of that turn, flying out of turn 3 there, I think.
He's loose again.
Yeah, he's pushing that car really hard out of these exits.
And you don't want to do that here.
No. Let's see him do it again. No, not quite. Okay. Yeah, let's watch eyes on Donnellan here for a second. I want to see if how he handles these exits, because he is really pushing on these exits, and that truck is starting to snap. But I think that he might have learned his lesson here, folks, because he is much more even on the exits than he has been the last couple of turns around here. Let's see. No, still a little bit loosey-goosey, but it seems like he's got a better idea of when the breaking point is. Not bad, not bad, not bad.
He's just trying to establish a rhythm. This place is very rhythm-based, and you need to have that rhythm in a truck that can be able to last the full run. If this track is anything like its real-life counterpart, tires are going to get shredded during the run.
Yeah.
So you need to take care of the truck for the whole run, so that way you have something that can carry you forward. And if not, you're going to have your hands even more full than Drew Prohl already has right now.
Yeah.
So if I'm those guys, I'd probably back off a little bit, let the tires cool, and fight back later on.
Might be the way to do it right now. Speaking of playing it cool, Drew Prohl doing his best, but it's costing him positions. Up in front, playing it cool, is Joseph Tucker, who's 2.5 seconds ahead of second place Heath Snyder. Speaking of rhythm, but just ahead of Joseph Tucker becomes the first challenge that Richmond's going to throw his way in the form of Blair Holloman.
Yeah, that's going to be Scott Schroeder, and Scott Schroeder just came up on the radio, said he's going to let the leader go.
Excuse me, it's Scott Schroeder there. Oh, ooh, yeah, Scott's going to really let him go.
Yeah, not going to put up much of a fight there. Lets him go. Tucker's already got a pretty comfortable lead up to 2.5 and counting. As we're about to complete lap number 32.
Well, Scott Schroeder, unfortunately, back there, looks like he's going to have a little bit more to give very shortly here. once the gap gets made up between him and some of the cars behind him who are kind of starting to train up a little bit. And once that happens, they're going to catch him.
The battle between Hughes, Donnellan, and Prohl is heating back up again.
There we go. 2 wide right now. Just ahead, Donnellan. Side by side with Hughes.
Had just enough of a nose to pry the door open. Oh, but he's going to be really loose that time. Gonna lose a spot, potentially lose a spot right here. That's the 38 of Evan Ethel. He's going to jump through the outside of Donnellan and take that spot away.
That's going to cost, wow, that cost him a lot. That slide cost a lot. Otherwise, very keen. Otherwise, very smooth. Donnellan really put it up there, and he risked it for the biscuit. And now he's down 1 biscuit, or 2 biscuits. This line of 4 cars here is where the action's at right now. This is the battle for, basically it's the battle for 6th.
Hey, Hunter Hughes is doing a really good job right now in the middle of this run. I was worried just how much of an effect the rear damage would have on that truck. You wouldn't think Era wouldn't have much of an effect on a track this small. But, you know, any advantage would help, having a clean truck. But it doesn't seem to be really hurting him right now. I see him kick a little bit loose, a little bit, had a bit of a wiggle that time as Prohl is really delivering the pressure to him.
Yeah.
And are a little high. He's going to peek the nose to the inside. He's got the run. Going to try to side draft him down, past the line. He's going to get a nose ahead into turn 1. See how much of a fight back Hughes has here. He'll have the nose ahead, but can Hughes fight back on the outside? Ooh, he's really loose that time.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. They were door to door there for a second.
Prohl barely missed the bottom, but he was able to stay ahead that time. Again, this is for 6th place. Gonna try to drive it in, try to slide him up.
He's got him. He's got him. That was a good move for Prohl. Hughes just could not handle the squeeze, unfortunately. Prohl was ready to push Hughes out of the way. He was either get out of the way or I will make you get out of the way. And that squeeze was the result of that. Right now, Ethel is giving the squeeze also to Hunter Hughes. Ooh, 3 wide right now. Scott Schroeder, our lap car, briefly a part of the action. Hughes, front of the line still. Having to hold off Ethel, who's starting to look like he wants the inside. Hughes is taking that middle groove, and it's not really doing him any favors right now. Every time he gets into one of these duels, it looks like he's flipping a coin and getting lucky almost every time. But a couple of times he's flipped and he's lost. And he's lost some space, he's lost some speed, but right now the luck is in his favor as he holds off Evan Ethel. Ethel staying in that middle groove now for a little while as well, but he wanted the inside. You can see it earlier. He wanted to get there. Ow! Into the wall goes Ethel. Always such a shock. Pow! When these guys slide up into the wall like that.
Yeah, the grip level on these tires is fading fast, if not already gone, with how they're fighting their trucks on exit every single lap. Ethel hits it again, even harder that time.
Yeah,
he does. Speed. O'Donnell sees an advantage. He tried to take it that time inside.
Can he do it? Can he hold on?
Yeah, Donnellan just didn't have the drive off from the inside. Ethel was able to protect. And we talk about, you know, the handling of these trucks progressively getting worse and worse as the pace continues to fall off. And some trucks are going to be, you know, a little looser than others as the tires wear. You mentioned Drew Prohl in the 80 truck kind of having issues. I think he's starting to have the pendulum swing back in his favor as he was able to save some of it. His truck seems to be handling a little better in this point in the run.
Yep, just a
Probably
little
lose that
bit.
time, but he's pulling away from the battle that he was just in. He's saying sayonara.
I was about to say, right when you say he's holding it down a little better, he had that tiny little wiggle, but you're right. I think you're absolutely right. He's been doing much better. The pendulum's been swinging back in his direction. The ball is rolling up the hill as it was. Ooh, heavy smack there for Colton Garner into the wall as well. These tires are getting sweaty. It is about that time, and I think
Yeah.
that we're really trying to push to 60. I don't know. I don't think these guys are going to be able to make it to 60 without pitting, and so we're going to have some people pitting very soon here. At least I don't think they would be able to make it. They might be,
Yeah,
but I bet some people are going to pit early as part of the strategy.
I might. I mean, speaking up the hill, we're looking further up the leaderboard hill as we got some battles now further up in the running order with Kyle Westwood and Colton Gardner, 4th and 5th. We're in a bit of a battle right there. Colton Gardner running the French board Fire Rescue Ford F-150. They're closing in on Ginningsman right now.
Yeah, it looks like we're holding a steady eye on the situation of Colton Gardner, Kyle Westwood. Garner really trying to use what space he can behind the 92. Doesn't look like he's yet making a play. I'm not sure if it's going to be to the inside, the outside. But it feels like he's biding his time just a little bit, just biting a little bit. Ooh, big slide. Little ways ahead from Chad Ginningsman, I think that was. And 97.
And Ginningsman's losing touch to Heath Snyder, who's, in comparison, both those guys have been falling off a cliff compared to our leader, Joseph Tucker. You mentioned kind of strategy and whatnot. The guys at the front are trying to think, what changes can I make to even come close to the level that Joseph Tucker is at right now with the clinic he has put on this first half of the race, with up to about a 5-second lead over the competition so far.
Darn good question. I don't know. If I was one of those guys driving at the front thinking, you know, that I was 5 seconds behind the leader who was out by himself, my first thought might be, man, it'd be great to get a push from the guy behind me. You know, get in line enough that we could actually use each other's speed a little bit. But I'm not sure if Richmond is really the place for that. I mean, it probably could be if you were really coordinated, but it just feels like you're back in the turns a little bit soon. Woo! You see that duo pirouette there?
Oh, we got a yellow.
A yellow is out. As 18 Hunter Hughes is sideways. What happened there? The back machine, tell us the story of Hunter Hughes. He gets crossed up, spins himself. Oh, love tap right into the wall.
He was really pushing just how high up the groove he was able to go, as we're starting to see a little more marble buildup than what we're used to seeing here at Richmond since the marble refresh on iRacing. We're starting to see a lot more of that.
I just noticed that as soon as you said that, I looked into the corner of the track and those high grooves, and there is a ton of marbling, a ton of stuff to clean up there. And that's got to be something that's going to affect these guys. We're not even halfway through the race.
Yeah, he might have got his right sides on there a little bit with a truck that was already skating loose. He's probably put a little too much wheel into it, and around it went.
Let's find out exactly where he was when that happened. Here we are on board with Hunter Hughes during that replay. Yeah, probably a good spot for losing control of your car, to be honest. As in, probably the spot where I would lose control of the car.
Tell you what now, look who's back up to 9th right now.
Yo, Scott Healy. Love it. What a rush. And you know what's fun is we're going to have kind of a mad dash here. I bet we're going to be like one lap to the 1 lap to the halfway point. If they don't just call this the halfway point, we're going to do like a 1 lap dash to the official breaking point. And at that point, folks, when we're going to take our first break, because we're very close to it now, I want to make sure that we get a chance to see it happen. All right. Well, actually, we're going to take a really quick break now. We'll be back to get that mad dash to the end of stage 1. Don't go anywhere. It's coming up.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
We're back, folks, and the flag is green, and we are go yet again here on Grid Vision with a 1 lap dash to the end of stage 1. Out in front, Joseph Tucker's going to lead that dash. Chad Genningsman in second, Heath Snyder in third. Craziness a little bit in the back. No one's hitting the wall too hard yet, though. Chad Genningsman is still holding on to second, not quite able to put third away from Heath Snyder, though. The yellow flag is out. We are going to be ending the stage under yellow, folks. That would give Joseph Tucker, Chad Genningsman, and Heath Snyder the 1, 2, 3. It looks like these are going to freeze their positions. So, folks, we are going to do a little bit more radio-style broadcasts here. I will appropriately modulate my voice to sound more like a 1940s radio broadcaster, as we bring you the news of how things are shaping up as the boys come down pit road. Curtis?
And we got all the trucks. Looks like that's about everybody on pit road now, except for, well, I guess one of the lap trucks, Scott Schroeder, trying to get one of his laps back. It'll be a race on pit road. Chad Genningsman was able to pick up at least 1 or 2 spots on that 1 lap dash to get him to second place. And if the race on pit road goes his way, he could potentially gain 1 more. Wasn't able to do it. Joseph Tucker, yeah, it wasn't even close. He stays ahead. Genningsman protects second place from Heath Snyder. Kyle Westwood in the 92 stays in 4th. Drew Prohl exits the pits in P5. And Colton Gardner, Gary Donnell in P7. Looks like Scott Healy might have gained a spot here over Evan Ethel for what looks like the 8th position, and then I think the 24 of James Staples.
Well, not bad, not bad. A decent first round there. Joseph Tucker looking good in that first place position. And we've got another 100 laps of racing coming at you hot, folks. All righty. 1 to green now. We should be back up here. Thank you. Yes, folks, we were doing a little bit of adjustment on the screen, trying to get things a little bit smoother like butter for you. I want you to say, I can't believe it's not grid vision, because it's so smooth. No, we've got our best technicians are at it right now as we've got the guys coming around. The pace car is off. We are getting ready to go here to start stage 2 of our race, and we are go yet again here on Grid Vision. Joseph Tucker demonstrating that dominating speed out front. We're 2-wide briefly with Chad Genningsman and Heath Snyder. Genningsman taking the second place spot this time, Snyder in third. Sliding into place. Everybody is getting in line. It looks like there's no one hitting the wall yet. We're almost going to finish this lap. Let's see what happens at the end of the first lap of stage 2. We've got a spinner. Oh, no. Heath Snyder spins it. He saves it, but he spins it, folks. We're going to have a yellow, though, so it's going to stack things up, thankfully, for Heath Snyder. But that spin is going to be a costly one position-wise, and the man who got the Derby double has been cursed, unfortunately. Have been hit by the first phase of the commentator's curse here.
Just a harmless spin, the same thing we saw at Hunter Hughes. And this time on cold, fresh tires. He watched his wheel input, might have gave it a little too much as he got back on the gas, maybe a little too early, and that's what happens when you do that at Richmond. Unforgiving.
Oh, man. Poor Heath Snyder. Really a tough spot to be in. But, you know, we saw that happen. We saw a tough break for Scott Healy earlier today. We saw a tough break for Heath Snyder today. It's been tough breaks all around a little bit here on the SSRL Truck Series Tour tonight. Got some really good front runners that have had just unfortunate moments with keeping their trucks up in front and running.
We mentioned tough breaks and Scott Healy. He just got thrown a bone. Another restart for him.
Yeah.
He'll be able to get in a spot from that spin. Moves him up to 6th place as the march forward continues for the 64.
Not a bad position to be in. And if we take a look at our championship standings, it looks like, you know, we've got Chad Genningsman at the top. Heath Snyder is in 5th right now. And we don't see Scott Healy's actually not in the championship standings order right now. It looks like on this list here, but he's been such a hard driver lately, and he's always been showing up and putting on some really, really good drives. But it seems like that fate is almost never really on his side when it comes to some sealing the deal on some of these bigger races. So, or these bigger placements at the finish line. So I'm hoping that he can climb his way back up and put up some good numbers there this week. Be really great to see. Still got a few turns left here.
They're doubling up already. I imagine we're going to get the lights out on the pace car.
Yep.
Probably about here, I'd imagine. Yep. I want to keep an eye on Joseph Tucker. We talk about how fast he's been all night. It hasn't just been overall pace in the long run. It's out of the box as well. Every restart, he has been in control and just taking a commanding lead before they even get to turn 1. So Chad Genningsman needs to be able to match him on this restart if he needs to have any sort of fighting chance.
Yeah, you got to keep it too wide. As hard as he can, he has to keep it too wide. Being on the outside, not a good spot when you're trying to dive into turn 1. To keep it too wide, you're just getting that much speed is really tough to do by the time you get to the end of that first turn, even with a bit of a lead in. But let's watch what happens here.
That X Factor in the Extreme number 80, Drew Prohl, P3. Highest he's been all night. We're back to green.
Back to green, go yet again. Here he goes, Joseph Tucker on the outside. Genningsman super fast, drives it in on the outside. He's too wide, like we said, into turn 1. He's keeping it too wide, coming out of turn 1, down into the straight. Genningsman on the outside. putting it to Joseph Tucker, who's had a great lead so far. Genningsman giving him the hardest drive he's had all night. There he goes by a nose. Joseph Tucker falling back to Chad Genningsman. Genningsman's using the inside groove. Ooh, a little bit loose there for Genningsman, but he's still got him by half a car. Tucker down to the inside. The geometry's going to be on his side, but that groove is working for Genningsman, and he's not going to let go. Some sparks flying as he straightens that car out. I wonder if there's a little damage that he's dealing with, but if he is dealing with it, he's not letting us know. He's just keeping it absolutely locked in for this battle, this side-by-side battle.
He's dealing with it pretty well. Joseph Tucker keeping him honest on the inside. I think Tucker not really feeling much pressure battling Genningsman right now. He knows he has a faster truck than him right now, as we saw early in the first stage. But he's going to try to wear him out a little bit. He's keeping him on the outside. Genningsman is trying to clear him. He will this time out of two. Just barely does it. But Tucker's going to fight back on the bottom. Dives it in. Is there door-to-door again? Genningsman gonna try to get back in the gas soon. Oh, they barely touch out of 4.
Oh,
this
wow.
battle continues. Tucker dives it in again on the inside.
Did you see Drew Prohl also nearly into the wall behind them watching this happen? Prohl has been very, very close to wiping out a couple of times, just that one time at least, but he's got a front row seat to this attack here. Oh, a little bit of a switch up. Maybe Genningsman can take it on the inside. It looks like he's trying to slide up. He's traded positions now with Tucker. He sees the advantage of that inside line. He's making Tucker ride the wall a little bit more closely. Tucker cannot dive down to the inside where he's most comfortable.
And clear.
And clear. That switch-up move, that quick 2-lap switch-up from Chad Genningsman, all it really took to keep Joseph Tucker just a little bit off balance. That little bit off balance cost him the spot. Back a little ways, we see Gary Donnellan. Scott Healy back up here. He's leaning out. Scott Healy's in 4th now.
And the rest of the field better take notice. That 64 car is on the charge and has been since that mishap early on. Back in the top 5 already and with some time to spare. And with these two continuing to fight at the front, he just might get there.
He's going to. This fight is going to be the thing that keeps Tucker and Genningsman from ever really pulling away from this pack behind them. And this pack of angry bees is going to close. In time, there's going to be a battle for first, unlike the likes we've ever seen, unless the battle for first right now can get sorted out.
And we're starting to see just how valuable it is to be the leader of this race. I thought Tucker was going to maybe not put up as much of a fight as he is right now because of the speed we've seen out of him in comparison to Genningsman in the first stage. But he is not let down without a fight whatsoever, and he still isn't. So I think he's probably worrying, if I give up this lead now, will that be it for me? Is the lead that valuable? So we're still seeing them side by side, non-stop. And if they continue this up, that's just going to reel in Drew Prohl, Scott Healy, Gary Donnellan. They're all in line, next in line, waiting for these two to, slip up. Running a wide entry, Genningsman's going to try to get through the middle. As Tucker was a little more shallow on entry. It just becomes this, like, it's all bronze, but a little bit of brains, a little bit of a chess match. Trying to see, where their truck is handling best. What's the other guy doing right? Where are they most vulnerable?
Oh, and look who just slid into 3rd.
Healy, but he's not through yet. Prohl's going to fight back.
He almost cut the nose off Prohl. Taking 3rd place there. Prohl is going to fight back. You are right. There is a lot of strategy that's coming into play here. Pushing and pulling. I don't know. I think that's going to be it for the fight, and I'm not sure Prohl has got enough bite to hold off Healy's really heavy charge here. Now that charge is going to take him right up to the battle of Genningsman and Tucker, and it's a battle of attrition. It's a battle of mistakes. Who can make the most miniature mistakes? Who can avoid making the big mistake? That's what's going on here at the front right now, as everybody is feeling out that moment and that rhythm, like you said, because you can't make the moment happen unless you really want to shovel somebody. I don't see anybody doing that right now. Ooh, double
Look
too
to the
wide.
rest of the field. We got 2x2. Well, in the midfield.
Eyes on Hunter Hughes. Oh, okay. He's going to slide up, then back down.
Got Staples in the 24 on the outside. Hughes with the truck that we saw sideways earlier. He's Snyder on the comeback trail after spinning out at the start of stage 2. And Art Nicotera, the 17, right behind him.
Yeah, Snyder, a very unfortunate spin out there. Was in a great position early on, was in second place. And that spin really was what cost him everything. He's still got time to pull a Scott Healy, got time to work his way back up through the ranks. We're just now crossing lap 87, getting ready to get closer to lap 90 out of 150. Ouch! Into the wall goes Staples. And then high onto the outside. That's going to give him, I guess, just enough momentum to stay defensive against the 18 machine.
And while that's going on, Snyder's trying to look for an open door to get around a boat. Ooh! Old tail happy from the 18 again out of turn 2.
Yeah, put Snyder also very close to the wall again. Staples riding that high groove. It's been working for him. It's kept him competitive. It's kept him in the top 10. Hunter Hughes right now is in the top 10th position. He's 10th right now. And James Staples is 9th. Heath Snyder, though, is now in 10th right as I speak. Hunter Hughes falls out of the top 10 into 11th. That's what will happen when you smack the wall. Looking good.
Gentlemen, I
looking
must
good.
turn your attention to second place. Scott Healy has gotten around Chad Ginningsman, and he is
Oh my
charging
goodness.
at Joseph Tucker. It's down to a half second and closing as we speak.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yep, there it goes. Let's watch this battle from the eyes of a one Scott Healy. Your man in motion. All he needs is a pair of wheels. That's him right there. Really, if we're doing nerd talk here, he's a half second behind. But just about every time he hits this turn, that seems to be just fluctuating between getting a little bit closer and a little bit further. He's not quite closing the gap. He's at the gap. He's found it. But there's going to need to be a little bit of give from Joseph Tucker. And we've seen Tucker overdrive his car. And I think that's going to be what ends up costing him. He's going to overdrive that car. He's going to overdrive that truck. And then that's when Tucker is going to lose speed and give it on a platter to Scott Healy. We'll see what happens.
That's kind of what I'm wondering, too. If this battle does come to fruition between these two, who's going to have the better tire life at the end of it? Because Justin Tucker, as we mentioned earlier, when he was battling Chad Ginningsman for the lead, he was fighting him hard. He wasn't, letting him go easy or anything like that. Even though he ended up winning that battle, it took him a while to get around him. So I imagine he put a little bit of wear on his tires. Now, on that note, he at least restarted from the front row. Scott Healy still had to work to get up to second place. He was, I believe, in like 6th place on the restart.
Yeah,
so he had to do even more work than Tucker did just to get up there.
Ugh, what a spot to be in. What a challenge to be in Scott Healy's shoes right now. He is, and remember, this race started with Healy on the pole position and Tucker in second. So this is just a reverse of how the race began for these two drivers right now up at the very front. Tucker still under half a second between him and Healy. Crossing lap 97, looking at lap 98 coming up here. After that, it'll be 50 to go, folks, until we're at the end of tonight's race. It's going to feel like a dash. Like I said, it's going to go by so fast. You're going to blink, and we're going to be at the finish line. Right now, you're going to blink, and I'm going to send it to commercial. We're going to be back with a little bit after our sponsors, so please give them some consideration and don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Goat Racing Diecast and the sponsor of the World League Goat Racing Diecast 150 at the Monster Mile. And that's what the famous words of motorsports. Hey, Gabby. Driver, start, go, and go!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SSRL Truck Series Monday night race here from virtual Richmond Raceway. I'm Joe LaCastro, joined in the booth by Curtis White, joined in the truck by Austin Derbyshire, and we're bringing to you the last 50 laps of tonight's race from Richmond. If you are in chat, sound off. Let us know how you've been enjoying tonight's race. If you're not in chat, get in chat, sound off. Let us know how you're enjoying tonight's race, and let someone know that we've got the best in virtual racing here on Grid Vision week after week. So come on and join us again next week for some more racing, and later this week, I guess, for some more racing too. We got some more stuff coming up. But right now, in the race that we're watching, let's talk about who's doing what. Chad Genningsman, third place right now in the 97 machine. He is behind Scott Healy and Joseph Tucker, who are currently our race leaders. Joseph Tucker out in front. He's about 1 second ahead of Healy. Healy putting on an amazing show, going from first to last, back to second, all over the course of tonight's race. Probably one of the most impressive drives we've seen on SSRL in a long time, especially on a track like this. Just inspiring stuff. Real Seabiscuit material. right now. We'll see how things pan out over the next couple of laps, though, for Scott Healy. Healy in front of Drew Prohl, and that gap is about a 2.5 second gap. So there's a big line forming between the second place position and the rest of the field. So with these 50 laps remaining, we'll see how things pan out with Joseph Tucker out in front.
Gaps continuing to open up steadily as we let the laps wind down. The more the laps wind down, the more time that gets ticked off for Scott Healy. He's going to run out of time. Drew Prohl gets around Chad Genningsman for P3. I think we saw this in the first segment as well. That 97 just doesn't seem to have the long run pace, at least to stay comfortable where he is. And looks like that 97 might have dropped the anchor again. Gary Donnellan is going to look to the outside and get around him for the fourth position.
And we have a few guys going into the pits now to set themselves up for the end of the race, I think. If you were to pit now, you would definitely be able to make it to the end of the race. Christopher Fuge, James Staples, those guys have hit the pits. James Staples, most likely because of his crash during
under
the
the
break.
He had a moment in turn one. Scott Lewson hit the inside wall towards the end of the pit wall and launched back up into the racetrack into the outside. And let's just say that, as we get a replay of it here, and this was during the break. It was Heath Snyder. Him and Staples got together, and just for a second, it looked like that Pizza Planet delivery service truck was about to take liftoff.
Yeah, it did. Was about to take liftoff. Yep. Gonna get picked up by the claw. Ooh, fast move. Colton Garner down pit road. He's going to take that break. Let's see if Joseph Tucker is considering one. Not this time around. This is the real strategy setting time for these drivers here. We've got a few other guys. Hunter Hughes pitting in. Gabriel Andy pitting in. There's James Staples. Eyes on Scott Healy. Lovely shot of the boys on pit road doing their jobs. Drew Prohl's had a mixed night tonight. Art Nicotera sitting 2 positions up from where he started in 11th right now. He's heading down to the pits.
Now, who amongst the top 5 is going to be the most likely to take a swing on an early pit stop? Because you're not going to be able to get Joseph Tucker on pace right now, because he's got that on lock. But
yeah,
if you have the chance to short pit and leapfrog ahead of him, and maybe have the chance to hold him off in the final stint, if you're Scott Healy or Drew Prohl, do you take that opportunity? Chad Ginningsman, who we've seen struggle in the long run, does he pit early?
I think if you're Scott
and if you're
Healy,
Joseph Tucker, are you thinking about that as well? Are you thinking those guys are going to do it? Maybe I should pit early too to kind of defend that from happening?
Yep, that's a lot of good consideration. Joseph Tucker has to be looking into his rearview mirror right now to think. There's your answer, though. Drew Prohl and Gary Donnellan. Drew Prohl, the first one to go ahead and hit the pits out of that top 5. This is going to be the chance for Joseph Tucker to say, yeah, I don't know. This could be it. Prohl and Donnellan heading on down. Tucker still not heading down. It's still his race.
And looking at the entry to pit road here, it's one of the trickier ones on the circuit. Even that could gain you or lose you a lot of time on pit road. As Drew Prohl, if that looked like a pretty tight window, as he was about an inch away from the barrels as he was able to come down pit road.
We're on lap 118 now, almost 119. Soon we're going to be at the 3-lap mark.
We got a yellow.
Wonder what caused that.
Caution flag in the middle of the cycle.
In the middle of the pit cycle is going to mess up a lot of strategies.
Christopher Hughes in the 68.
Huge. Let's see what happens. Rides up toward the wall and just loses control. Ah, good old Firehouse subs, though. Those are tasty, so I forgive you.
Let's see what happened ahead of him. That was Kyle Westwood in the 92. He actually missed pit road. The 92 was actually going to come down pit road and missed.
That's what I thought he said. I heard something over the driver radio very quickly.
He might have created a lucky break there.
Yeah, he gave Tucker what he needed. He gave Tucker what he needed on a silver platter, and Healy a little bit, but Healy's going to be in the same spot. Tucker needed to be in a spot where he knew that he had the advantage on Healy.
Yeah, all the trucks that didn't pit yet until now, they can rest easy for a little bit, because now they're going to have fresh tires, and that's going to force the rest of the field that did pit to take the wave around.
And let's see how things happen on pit road here. Remember, Healy actually is our pole position, so he's going to be in front taking tires and gas potentially. We'll see who wins the race. They're going to both come off the jacks at the same time. Okay, just by a nose there, Joseph Tucker maintains the status quo. That's good coffee.
That was the top 5 or 6 trucks, I believe, that pitted. So it's going to be Drew Prohl on back, all trapped a lap down, all going to have to get their laps back on the wave around. Let's it's unfortunate because this strategy played out. I'm curious to see where Kroll and Donald and all those guys would have cycled out if it kind of went national. But that's the chaotic nature of racing, is that you never know what can happen.
You never do. It is the chaotic nature of racing, but it's what always brings me back to it. It's beautiful, unscripted action.
That's why when I race, I never stick to a plan. I never even create a plan. Because
Yeah.
plans never stay to fruition through the rest of the race. Because there's all sorts of curveballs being thrown at you.
Yeah,
Every
the plan
lap.
is to go fast and stay tactical. That's kind of the name of the game. Be flexible.
Yep.
What did Bruce Lee say? Be water, my friends.
To learn how to improvise. Some
Exactly.
trucks passing the pace car now. It'll be the top
Running.
two of Tucker and Healy.
About to get ready to go. The lights are off, which means, as you know, we are 1 to go right now, so we better get everybody stacked up. That's not a lot of cars right now.
Tucker, Healy, Ginningsman, Westwood, who got a lucky break, missing pit
we
road.
were in the
Scott
middle of
Schroeder in the
pit cycle.
74 is in 5th.
Oh my God.
With that wounded front bumper in the top 5.
Pace car is
See-
off. Lights are green, and we are go yet again here on
And the
Grid
whole
Vision.
field is spaced out.
Wow, this is a crazy spaced out field right now. Yeah, it's really crazy, man. Scott Healy hungry right now on Joseph Tucker. Joseph Tucker looking behind him in his rearview mirror, can't let go of Scott Healy. He was going to try early to make this play. He's going to try early to make it because he needs it to stick, and he needs to have that lead throughout the rest of the race to really feel comfortable. He's hungry. Driving hard, everybody flying up to the wall, but not quite touching it. There it is, the Chastity Tucker Realtor car yet again up in front. The 39 machine of Joseph Tucker has been putting on a pretty good clinic tonight, but Scott Healy, if anything, is taking lessons, taking notes, and he's learning everything he needs to learn on how to pass Joseph Tucker. We'll see what happens. Ooh, wall contact in the back. I think that was Scott Schroeder. We're going to see some more of that right here, I think, as we got guys coming around through the tri-oval. Getting ready for the back straight. Man, that wall out of 2 really acts like a magnet on some of these trucks. Can he do it? What is the over-under on Scott Schroeder making this pass at some point? Just a 1/10 of a second off the bumper right now of Joseph Tucker is Scott Healy, the 64 machine, churning up Richmond as hard as it can to try to find any position that it can without just shoveling it out of the way. He's got the speed. I got a feeling he's got the speed. He just doesn't have the position to make a safe pass.
He's getting a little bit adventurous, trying to play with different lines, trying to see if he can set up an opportunity to get around Joseph Tucker for the lead. As you know, he's about a half a truck width up in the middle of the turns. That's going to help with drive off. But Tucker is he's just been perfect all night, just not letting anything phase him. Healy's trying to deliver some sort of intimidation tactic by getting all over his rear bumper, but Tucker is not letting him get phased by it whatsoever. He's just doing his job, driving methodically, and as long as he does what he does, I don't think Healy's going to have anything for him unless he does something very adventurous.
Yeah,
But I don't think we're at that point yet. When he gets
I
a
don't
little
think we
loose
are
out
either.
forward, that's not going to help him whatsoever.
No, it's not. And I think that it's going to be Healy in his rearview mirror that makes Joseph Tucker slip up, if anything, here. And that's going to be what gives way for Scott Healy to get a little pass in. Or he's going to touch the wall. Healy has to be the one who doesn't overdrive his machine. Could it just be that Tucker's going to get underneath his skin enough to make him overdrive, and he's going to end up losing speed to the wall now, as we see one of the largest gaps form between these two drivers since the restart of this race? Back behind, Chad Genningsman is about a second off the leaders, the top two right now, a little bit further back. Scott Schroeder just ate the wall a little bit. Colton Garner in behind him. Drew Prohl holding up 7th place. There's a little pack of 3 there. Prohl, one of the hardest drivers tonight. He's had some ups and downs, but Prohl has been hovering around the mid-card spot on the ticket pretty well over the course of the evening. I think that he is trying to drive it as hard as he can, but it feels like just some of the drivers around him are putting in just a little bit extra effort in certain places and making him work extra hard to keep the spot that he's in. But he's in there now, and he's 3 positions up from where he started. So kudos to you, Drew Prohl. Good drive tonight.
Absolutely. It'll still be a net gain in relation to where he was in the first stage, but again, just wondering what if, considering he was running deep in the top 5, as high as 3rd place. If that caution didn't come out, we would probably be having a different story, but nonetheless, it's been an up and down night for the number 80 machine. And, you know, we talk about attrition and up and down nights. We got to give Scott Schroeder his flowers, man. And we saw him wrecking in turn 1, first lap of the race. That truck was completely destroyed in the front end. But that 74 crew has been hard at work getting that thing fixed up. The thing was limping around the track the whole first stage and got some lucky breaks, got the time to fix that truck. And here he is running 5th and staying there.
Yeah, didn't lose a lap. Kept his... Actually, he did lose a lap at one point.
Yeah, he got it back.
Got his lap back. Kept it up, got into 5th place, and that's the real Lazarus moment right there for me. If you're down a whole lap on a short track, and then you just have that lucky moment where you get that lap back and you make the most of it, that's it. That's the genie in the lamp. And right now, Scott Schroeder is enjoying the fruits of that labor as he sits comfortably in 5th place.
That's where that never quit mentality really pays off. Some guys in his position would be grumpy. They would be like, oh, whatever. And then they would be out of it, right? But Schroeder, he's like, all right, we still got a long way to go. We got a stage break around lap 60 or whatever. We could sub plenty of other cautions come out, plenty of opportunities to get that truck fixed and back up to speed. And you know, the lucky breaks have been in his favor, and now here he is back in the top 5.
All right, close calls are happening here. Joseph Tucker is getting the squeeze again from Scott Healy. Healy's found the moxie, put it back in the pedal, giving the squeeze right now to Joseph Tucker.
He's either found something or he's been playing with them. We're about to find out.
Or he's been playing. Yeah, it's maybe a little bit of both. We're going to find out. Yep. Could have been saving.
Games, they're very real.
They are real. It's a 4D chess and a level that I can't quite play it sometimes, but when it pays off, it pays off. Like you said, sometimes you go in with no plan. Sometimes you make a plan as you go and you watch it pay out. Now, if this was all part of Scott Healy's big brain plan, then I got to say, wow, hats off. Kudos to you, sir. You have turned around. You went from having a plan to losing it all to having it all back again. And just wanting to get back to where things started. The battle for first, the battle for pole position has been on since the second half of this race began at the beginning of stage 2. Scott Healy and Joseph Tucker have nearly been battling that entire time. Scott Healy starting in like 6th place on that restart back then, from where he was all the way in the back of the pack. Yeah, between him and Scott Schroeder, we've had a really crazy night. And Heath Snyder is also back up into 8th right now from where he fell back. So we've had a couple of guys lose it all and then gain it almost all the way back over the course of 150 laps. Speaking of 150 laps, it's only 6 laps to go at tonight's race here at Richmond.
I think it'll be 6 this time by if we count the NASCAR math.
Yes, I don't do NASCAR math very well. I know that's on me.
I usually forget sometimes, don't worry. Add 1.
Add 1. Yep, if I see 5, add 1. So right now it's 6 laps, folks. And in those 6 laps, the gap is widening now between Healy and Tucker. We're going to probably end up seeing push at the very last minute here from Scott Healy. If anything, he's going to make it a bloody finish for the final moment, because that's all he could do. With this many laps to go, you're not going to get a clean pass. You're not going to have a long time to pass. It's going to be a fight at the finish line. So let's see if Scott Healy can get close enough to make that fight a close one. 4 laps to go. Tucker, Healy, Genningsman, a little bit behind them. The top 4. A good gap ahead of the rest of the field here. Three to go. We've had a great race tonight, folks. Spartan Sim Racing League putting on a wonderful race out of Richmond from their truck series. If you've been following along so far, we hope you've been enjoying it. More to go. Come on, Tucker, says Chastity Tucker, realtor out of Tennessee. She's rooting on Joseph Tucker. He's in first right now. Scott Healy, could he put on the heat? It looks like he's not quite ready to fight. He's a little bit further back. 2 laps to go. With 2 laps to go, Tucker is going to have to hold on. He's got to keep that rhythm. Do not abandon it. Just stay where you are, sir. Follow that line, and you'll be across the line in no time. The white flag has been waved. We are going to be finishing this race. Scott Schroeder is out of fuel and falling back now. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Schroeder's out of fuel. He's falling out of line here. Joseph Tucker is sailing through the restart, waggling, and across the line. Joseph Tucker wins it at Richmond. Scott Healy in second. Chad Genningsman in third. Tucker and Healy side by side now, celebrating a little bit there. What a drive out of Joseph Tucker. Very, very good from second to first and then nowhere else. He really wanted this win, and he held on to this win, made that car look really good tonight.
Like Superman made it look untouchable.
Yeah. Yep. Superman versus the Flash. And he was the Flash in this case.
And even in the moments where, you know, the pressure was at its highest boiling point, he was still able to survive, like battling Genningsman for that one restart for laps on end.
Yep.
Dealing with the pressure from Scott Healy, who had been a mad dog charging through the whole field to get up to him. But adversity is no match for Joseph Tucker. He has just been that good.
You're exactly right. And let's give you the full results from tonight at Richmond. First place, Joseph Tucker. Second, Scott Healy. Third, Chad Genningsman. Fourth, Kyle Westwood. Fifth, Drew Prohl. Sixth, Colton Gardner. Seventh, Heath Snyder. Eighth, Gary Donnellan. Ninth, Evan Ethel. And 10th, Scott Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder was able to limp it back to the line and get P10, and will be the last truck on the lead lap, and all the trucks a lap down and beyond. Hunter Hughes in the 18 will take home P11. Art Nicotera in the 17 gets 12th. 13th goes to Gabriel Andy. And then Christopher Hughes, 26 laps down in 14th place. And all the trucks that have had issues tonight: James Staples, JP Jones, Blair Holloman, Jordan Sailors, who was out at lap 1. And then 2 trucks that didn't take the grid would be Tom Ringer and Todd Parent. Unfortunately, didn't see the green flag.
That's our full list out of Richmond. Really a hell of a race from Joseph Tucker. We're going to get a few of these guys up into the booth hopefully here. Let's see if we can get Chad Genningsman. Looks like he's muted right now, so we'll go ahead and pass up on him. And we'll he'll unmute. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and get Chad Genningsman, and then we'll get Scott Healy in after that. Chad, can you hear us?
I got you guys.
Hey, congratulations on that third place finish. Really, really good drive tonight. You started off in 6th, and then you just kept things up there in 3rd. What do you think was I'm going to ask, what do you think maybe held you back a little bit tonight? Because it felt like you almost always had the rhythm, but you didn't quite get that extra line of speed that you were looking for.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, just missed on the setup a little bit. Ran an Iowa set just because I didn't have a whole lot of time to practice. And just didn't get the splitter cleared. So on entry, I was just riding the splitter and then push up on entry. So couldn't really charge the corner. And just wish I had fixed that, because it definitely would have been a little bit better truck. Don't know if I would have beat Joe. Still, he destroyed us all in that long run. But definitely would have helped my truck a little bit.
Yeah, that long run was something. But yeah, excellently done. You bounced back and held on to that 3rd place slot. That was a solid race from everyone. Is there anyone that you'd like to shout out to or thank tonight?
Definitely want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I want to thank Dave and Darcy Adams for putting on the league, and thank everybody else for having a good race tonight. It was fun to run a lot of green flag laps. I think the last few short tracks haven't gone that way. I think Iowa ended with 5-lap run after 5-lap runs. It's nice to get a good long race, and then congrats to Joseph Tucker on the win.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your time tonight. We look forward to seeing you race again soon, and congratulations on being at the top of the list. I think this is going to keep you up there.
Yep, should be good for points. And yep, thank you guys, and see you next week.
All right, take care now. All right, that was Chad Genningsman. Let's get Scott Healy. I see him down a little ways down there. I'll drag him up. Move him into... Can I get him in there? I don't know if I can. He might be too far. Okay. Hey, Scott Healy, I'm going to pass you over to Curtis White for an interview.
Sounds good, my man.
All right, we got our second place finisher, Scott Healy. Now, Scott, you have had to climb a mountain for whatever the issues that you had early in stage 1. That'll be my first question, because I didn't really figure out what exactly happened there. What exactly happened there at the start of the race that dropped you all the way to the back?
Yeah, I have no clue. It was a shifting malfunction. I don't know. It was in 4th gear the whole time, and all of a sudden I just realized it popped into neutral. I'm like, what the hell? So I tried to get it out of 4th, put it back in. Nothing was working. I'm like, there's no way I'm having back-to-back issues. So I don't know if there was a connection loose. I don't know, but it started to work magically again once I wiggled the wire. So I have no idea.
Yeah, thankfully it didn't pop its ugly head again. You were able to fight back forward. Now, in that moment, how were you able to kind of, keep calm and just kind of march back forward? Was it just knowing that you had the pace to get back up there, or like what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I knew I had the pace, but at the same time, I knew it was far back, so I knew if something happened, like I smacked the wall, I knew my net was over. I was gonna get lapped or something. So, like you said, I just had to stay calm, and I knew I had the pace, I knew I had the speed. I just had to pick cars one by one. I apologize if my voice is a little iffy. For some reason, I lost my voice this weekend. So, but yeah, I just picking cars one by one.
And finally, you were able to get back up to second place. Hell of a comeback, but again, that battle between you and Joseph Tucker, was there anything that you felt like you needed to finish the deal between you and him, or was that all she had?
That's all she wrote. With this new package they put into these trucks, I mean, you get into the air a little bit. It's just like the old Gen 6 where you couldn't pass anybody if they were blocking you. I don't know what they did to these trucks after the update, but my car was just getting stupid loose and stupid tight when I was behind him. I had some chances to bump him, but I don't want to bump him and wreck him because I knew he was fast. So I was just like, all right, it's either stay in second or potentially wreck his night, and I don't want to do that.
Well, either way, man, it's been a strong outing for you. A hell of a comeback, like I said. Nobody can take that from you. Congrats on the second place. Is there anyone you want to shout out?
I appreciate you. Just friends, family, my girlfriend, Team Conti, and my work in this. They're not on this car, but they're on my other car. So, I'd like to thank all those sponsors and friends, family, you guys bring on the broadcast. Everyone who's up watching. That's really it, man.
I appreciate talking to you, man. Take it easy.
Thank you too.
Okay. And I think we're going to be able to hopefully get our last person up in here, Joseph Tucker. And we'll get talking to him. Hello, Joseph Tucker. Can you hear us? Do we have Joseph Tucker here, or did I get the wrong person? Whoops.
Oh, it's indeed me. It is.
It's indeed you, sir. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
What a run. You went from second off of the jump to first, and it felt like you just never wanted to let go of that spot for the whole race. What do you have under the hood tonight? What were you feeding that thing?
Man, I was just feeding it the throttle. That's about it. I couldn't really feed it anything else other than the brake pedal, which that would barely do anything. So,
Are you just really familiar with Richmond, or you got a unique setup for the evening?
well, I do have a Rikers setup, but I'm also familiar with Richmond. You know, last week I was about to win the same race and wrecked out. So this was technically a race for revenge.
That had a little bit of. Oh, I'm back. I had a headset malfunction there. Sorry about that, Joseph. But you were saying you got your setup, and it led you to victory. You had the battle against Scott Healy was an incredible one. Was there a point where you thought maybe Scott was gonna take the lead, or were you pretty confident that you had him for most of the night?
I feel like as soon as he got to like my bumper going into 3, I was gonna get moved out the way. But last week, me and Scott had a good battle at Watkins Glen. This week, it was the same thing. I think we can put on good shows, and
Yeah.
we both race with respect, so I have nothing bad about it.
I definitely noticed that you guys neither of you wanted to be the one shoveling or pushing each other out of the way at any point. It was a lot of respect on the track tonight, and that turned into a really engaging, very fun to watch race. Thank you guys for putting on such a good show. Congratulations on the victory. And is there anyone you want to shout out or thank? You have a fan in the YouTube chat. I'm sure you want to shout out and thank them.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Chastity Tucker Realty, my mom, my dad, Right Turn Wrap for the scheme, Hospital Intent Racing, Drew, Gary, Gabe, all of them for helping, and Mission 22.
Alrighty. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on the track very soon. Congratulations again, Joseph Tucker, on the victory.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. And that's going to wrap things up for us from Richmond. Curtis, what a race. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah. Oh, I wish we'd run another one. That was a lot of fun. It definitely didn't disappoint. I know Richmond probably isn't the most popular among the fans, but I mean, come on. After that show, you got to be one now. I mean, this race had it all. A lot of stuff happened from green all the way to checkered, and the battles up at the front were great mix of clean and competitive. So props to everyone in the field tonight for putting on the show.
I fully agree. Couldn't have put it better myself. Fully agree. And with that, we are going to wrap things up here from Richmond, folks. So from the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Special thanks to Andrew Cardinal of Whiplash Sim Cams for providing the cams used on today's broadcast. And congratulations again to Joseph Tucker on winning tonight's race from Richmond. This has been Joe LaCastro, Curtis White, and Austin Derbyshire. We will see you next time on the grid.